Hi guys, today's video is a city tour or guide of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. I feel like cities are a little bit like people. Sometimes they're shy, a bit reserved, it's a little bit harder, it takes more effort to get to know them. Sometimes people just stick their hand out and give you a firm handshake and you get this immediate sense of exactly who they are. I feel like Rotterdam is definitely in the latter category. The word that I think of when I picture the city of Rotterdam is vision. Above all, this city has vision. It knows what it wants to be and how it wants to be perceived. And when you look to its history and the photos of the past, you see that during the Second World War, Rotterdam was completely destroyed. And the city used that absolute devastation as an opportunity to rebuild something new, something different, really like a phoenix just rising from the ashes of war. It was a tabula rasa, a completely blank canvas for architects and artists, and they took advantage of that opportunity. When you're walking around the streets of Rotterdam, to me, there's a very clear choice that you see all around you. This was a city that was leveled by war, absolute devastation. And there's a choice to rebuild something new, something modern, and that choice is all around you, and that's why I find Rotterdam inspiring, because you see the future and hope for the future everywhere you look. For me, the perfect symbol for Rotterdam is the floating forest. It's the first of its kind anywhere in the world, and it consists of 20 floating trees in the harbour. It calls attention to art, innovation, and sustainability, which are all things that Rotterdam cultivates. And one of Rotterdam's defining features is its harbour. It's the largest harbour in Europe, and you honestly can't talk about Rotterdam without mentioning the water. And these 20 live trees are bobbing around on the water in old sea buoys. The trees themselves are also recycled in a way because they come from the city's tree bank. So there are 20 trees out on the water, and a 21st tree is located on the land so that you can look at it up close. And the artist, Jorge Bakker, hopes that the forest will raise questions about the relationship between the city dweller and nature. And I think in this time of climate change, this is not only relevant to Rotterdam, but to the entire world. The water is such an important feature of Rotterdam, and so is the Erasmus Bridge, or in Dutch, the Erasmus Brug. It separates northern and southern Rotterdam. It's a suspension bridge built from light blue steel, and it's 800 meters long. It has 40 large steel cables, and at its highest point, it reaches a height of 139 meters. It has this lovely nickname, the Swan, and people in Rotterdam love this bridge. Whenever I asked a local person what I should not miss out on in the city, everyone said the Erasmus Brug. And I can see the swan, but to me it actually looks more like one of those Egyptian dogs with the pointy ears that kind of sit like this. I don't know if it's just me, but from certain angles you can see the posture and the silhouette. So I see the dog, but I can also see the swan. And if you can believe it, in 2005, as part of the Red Bull Air Race, some planes actually flew underneath the bridge. So very talented pilots. Not far from the Erasmus Bridge is the former head office of the Holland America line, and now it is Hotel New York. The Holland America line was founded as a shipping and passenger line, and what's interesting about this is it was actually the first connection between the Netherlands and the United States, and the first connection between the two continents. It stopped operating as a Dutch line in 1989 when it was purchased by Carnival Cruise Lines for a cool 530 million euro. The Market Hall or Markt Hall is another example of totally unique architecture in the city of Rotterdam, and it's the first covered market in all of the Netherlands. And why was it built? Why did they need a covered market? Because of stricter European regulations on selling produce like fish and meat and cheese in the open air. And as usual, I love this, the city of Rotterdam saw this limitation as an opportunity, a challenge to innovate, and they set about to build a market that would not only adhere to the new regulations, but would be a mind-blowing example of architecture and multi-use space. So not only is this hall complete with food vendors and shops and restaurants, it's also a residential space. There are 230 apartments, many of which have windows that face into the hall. You can see people cooking or doing their laundry. And it also includes underground parking for 1,200 cars in downtown Rotterdam. It opened in October of 2014 after 5 years of construction. And it's built nearby where Rotterdam was founded in 1270, so there were a lot of medieval objects that were found during the construction, like vases and tools and cannonballs. The exterior is covered with grey natural stone, and it's the same as what you'll find on the Rotterdam pavement on the streets, so all of the focus is drawn to the interior. and my God, what an interior it is. All of the attention is drawn to the roof of the Markthal. It's a painting by an artist named Arno Kunin. It's called The Horn of Plenty, and it's been called the world's largest painting. It covers 11,000 square meters. It's huge, it's bright and colorful, and now it's called the Sistine Chapel of Rotterdam. Just across the square from the market hall are the iconic cube houses. These were conceived and designed by an architect named Piet Blom in the 1970s, and he was given the task by urban planners in Rotterdam to solve the dilemma of building housing on top of a pedestrian bridge. Aside from the uniqueness of the asymmetrical design, the cube houses are meant to represent an abstract forest. Floating forest, abstract forest, rebirth, growth. I hope you're getting the theme of Rotterdam here. Structurally, the cubes sit tilted on a hexagonal pole, and completing that tilted design, the walls and windows are all angled at 54.7 degrees, so it gives excellent views of all the surrounding area. But although the houses optimize the space on the outside, unfortunately the same can't be said for the inside. The drawback, which is kind of ironic, is that despite a total area of 100 square meters, the angled structure means that only a quarter of that space inside is actually usable. I was extra excited to see these cube houses because in Toronto, where I lived before becoming a nomad, they also have cube houses. And I didn't realize until visiting Rotterdam that that's what they were inspired by. And I guess in Toronto, the plan was always to build more, but in the end, Toronto only has 3. I really enjoyed visiting Rotterdam, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing these highlights as well. Leave a comment down below, tell me what your favorite part of Rotterdam is, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more travel videos, and don't forget to hit that little bell beside the subscribe button for notifications of new videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Great big bridge! The water dam is such an important part.
The water dam?